This is
Yeah.
such a Belal thing too, by the way. The fact that it's his championship fight, but we're talking about something else that we're more excited about based on what will happen with him. Like,
I
all right, welcome to another episode to Fight Fans, where we talk about all things in combat sports. I'm one fight fan, Colin,
and I'm the other Stuart.
and today we are making our picks and predictions for UFC 315. So,
Yeah. Ha- Before we do that, though, Colin, give me a score, A through F, for this fight card overall.
I will say B minus.
Really?
Mhm.
That's pretty charitable. Okay.
Well, for a few reasons. One, I like some of the fighters on there, like Jose Aldo's fighting, even though like this fight doesn't really whatever. I just like he's fighting, but
Yep.
also for the implications behind what the main event have.
Yeah. Well, we know that you're a big fan of implications.
I am the
Yeah.
implications.
Implications. Are these people in trouble, Colin? No, you fool. All right. Let's Well, okay, let's talk about that then. Why don't we talk about that main event fight? And first, tell me the thing you're most excited about, which are the implications behind this fight.
So Dana White basically confirmed that depending on this result, whoever
Yeah.
wins is going to determine also who Ilia Topuria fights at International Fight Week. So,
Ah.
so basically, if Belal Muhammad wins, he's going to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Topuria will fight Islam, but if Jack Della Maddalena wins, then it's implied that Islam will then move up to welterweight, and Topuria will fight Charles Oliveira at International
Interesting.
Fight Week, which I assume will be for the lightweight title.
Yeah, it's probably gotta be.
Yeah,
Um,
and both of those fights, Ilya versus Charles and Islam, are the fights that I would like to see in lightweight. So
yes. Yes, that's true. Now, here's the thing. Is Ilya versus Islam the best fight you could make in the UFC?
right
Absolutely.
now,
And
yeah,
so, yeah, like I don't want to poo-poo the fact that they are trying to make that fight and go, "Ooh, I'm dissatisfied with that." But I will say, I have to assume Ilya is already in camp for what will be a first week of July fight card for International Fight Week.
last week of June, it's
Last week
like,
of June. Okay, so like
yeah,
he's definitely in fight camp. The UFC has the power to just make a call on what the fight is going to be because what's probably happening right now is Ilia Topuria is in training camp with 2 different opponents in mind.
yep,
2 very skilled opponents who have very different styles, and you would probably game plan for very differently. And yet his 2 opponents are only training for him.
yep,
It's kind of like I am excited when, we get a fight that we like, but then it's, a short notice replacement and it ends up being a good fight. But you go like, I do want to see the fight when there's a full training camp. I want to see the 2 best fighters getting full good training camps for each other with each other in mind as opponents, because that's typically when you get the best performance out of both of them, rather than, hey, this is the matchup you wanted, but we made it really hastily overall. Um, so I'm a little disappointed that like they really are just waiting to see the result of this fight, rather than just going like, hey, Islam, like you probably should just fight one more time at lightweight. It's only a month away, and then you can move up to welterweight, or yeah,
yeah,
if you want to, right? Does that make sense? Or am
yeah,
I just
yeah.
being a Debbie Downer?
No, no, no. I think that makes sense, and you're 100%. But I also this might also just speak to it might add to the clout behind Ilya then. It's like he's like, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna prepare for 2 people, and no matter what happens, I still feel the result's gonna be the same because I'm gonna become champion at the end," which I kinda
Yeah.
like too, so.
Yeah. But, like, if we go in there and, like, it's clear that, like, hey, Islam has got a little bit of an edge over him, like, it will always kind of be this asterisk of, like, well, he's training for Charles is very different than training for Islam.
Oh,
Um,
100%.
so, yeah, I don't know. And like this is all a problem of their own design, right? If the fight ends up not being as good as it could be, it's because the UFC was hoisted by their own petard. It's not because like they, oh they made the wrong booking. It's like why did you do it short notice? Why did you wait till the last minute? Also, why are you waiting if the fucking fight is at the end of June? We haven't even like started any press for it. Like, is there going to be any hype other than like what like hardcores know in their heart would be the hype for it? Like, it's such a weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. Um,
Yeah, but I mean, they're just basically banking on the star power of all three of those, and that no matter what, they could announce that 2 weeks before, and they're still going to be like, "Oh, like these guys can carry that no matter what."
yeah, but like, come on. What about doing a good job? What about like actually promoting a fight rather than being like, we don't really promote fights anymore. We just like put them on, and then hopefully
That,
people show up and watch.
yeah, that's them. That's the UFC right there.
I know, and it disappoints me. It disappoints me to no end. Yeah. All right. Well, those are the implications. Colin's all
Yeah.
hot and bothered about them. I'm like kind of hot, but bothered in a different way by the implications. But this is the fight card we have. It's in Canada, which I love, and apparently not selling very well at the gate.
Oh,
Because I think the UFC's turn to supporting Donald Trump, who has been threatening to annex Canada, is kind of turning the fan base off a little bit. Especially going
yeah,
to Montreal, like one of the most progressive cities in Canada. Um, so yeah. All
yeah.
right. Talk to me about this main event, Colin. What do we know about Belal Muhammad? What do we know about Jack Della Maddalena?
So, Belal Muhammad, we know, is a winner. He finds ways to
Yeah,
win,
man.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
and his I don't want to. It's we've talked about this before. Like his skill has been to neutralize other people's game plan. You
Mm-hmm.
know, which has led him to the championship. Like he himself
Yep.
is not like he does not have like the one way to put someone out. We talk about like Alex Pereira with his calf kick and his left hook. Like it's
Yeah.
very obvious what like methodology he's going to use to try to knock
Mm-hmm.
you out. Charles, is you know, one of those guys who's dynamic striking and then can scramble to take your back and choke you out. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we've gone through a lot of fighters who we kind of like, okay, this is their game plan, to finish the fight to come away with the win. Bilal Muhammad is more like, okay, here is what you're really good at, and I've neutralized that, and now I can do just enough to, control the fight or win on points.
Mm-hmm.
So against Jack Della Maddalena, who is I remember when you first told me about him, he is like really solid boxing and like good combination work and you know, like for MMA too. It's like
Yeah.
actually like clean combination boxing. And watching some of his fights again, it's like, wow, like that's exactly, yeah, you're exactly right. So to neutralize that, Bilal Muhammad is gonna have to do something like press him against the cage, take him down to the ground, which
Mm-hmm.
I've not really seen Jack Della Maddalena handle super well, but he also hasn't
No.
been challenged in the same way. So
Mm-hmm.
um, this is going to be that classic striker and wrestler counter grappler fair, I feel like.
You know, I think that's
So
like that was my initial read as well because I looked at the rewatched the Leon Edwards fight and I went, well, Leon Edwards likes to stay at range. He likes to stay at kind of like jabbing, kicking range, and Bilal just kind of didn't really even use very good footwork. Just like was like, I'm just gonna constantly be pressuring until Leon backs himself onto the cage, and then I've got good entries. I'm gonna lock my hands and I'm gonna dump him. And like
yep.
I'm just gonna rinse and repeat that. And we know that Leon Edwards, kind of like Bo Nickel in a sense, really crumples when things are not going his way. It's
Mhm.
very rare. I mean, there was that one spectacular head kick that he had against Kamaru Usman, but he was
Yep.
very mentally defeated in that fight. Um, and so I go, well, that game plan should work against Jack Della Maddalena because you're absolutely right. Like, what talking about like Bilal always like Bilal wins like every minute of every fight, right? He doesn't like win it spectacularly or dynamically, but he's in control. Like he doesn't
Yes.
let fights really get away from him.
Being in control is a great way to just
Yeah.
like that is Bilal Muhammad right there.
Yeah, and Jack Della Maddalena is like the exact opposite. He will like lose 14 minutes of a fight just to annihilate you in the 15th, and he doesn't really seem to ever pay attention to what control he's in. I mean, even look at his nose. He doesn't have control of that thing. That thing's like going seven different ways and as flat as a pancake. Like so. I go, well, okay, he should be able to just like do what he did to Leon Edwards, right? Like just march Jack Della Maddalena down. We know Jack Della Maddalena is pretty dangerous in boxing range, so you're gonna have to go through some fire. But Maddalena doesn't have the best footwork when it comes to like ring generalship. Like he will back himself onto the cage like he did against Gilbert Burns. And like Belal Muhammad's got better entries than Gilbert Burns for takedowns, and Gilbert Burns was able to take him down. So like that should be pretty easy. But then I remember the last time Belal Muhammad fought a striker that he seemed to be kind of scared of, which was
Mhm.
Vicente Luque. Now that was, I guess, 3 years ago. But like in that fight, Luque doesn't have the best, I mean, he's got decent submissions, but he doesn't have great counter wrestling. But Belal Muhammad thought the best thing to do there was like skate around on the outside and try to like have a pot shotting kickboxing match with Vicente Luque, and like just barely scraped by doing that. And like, what a terrible game plan if you're going against a dynamic striker.
Oh yeah.
So I kind of wonder, like, psychologically, is Belal gonna? I think like Belal knew that he needed to like march Leon down and that Leon could break, because he saw Leon kind of break against the pressure with Kamaru Usman. Like, and then sometimes Belal will fight strikers and be like, I have to stay away from them because they're too dangerous to get close to. So like, I think Leon, or not Leon, Belal should easily be able to beat Jack Taylor Maddalena if he does the Leon game plan. But I've got a weird sneaky suspicion that like he might like misdiagnose the right way to go about this fight, and then try to make it like a, hey, I'm gonna stay on the outside and throw leg kicks and like try to get you with like long jabs, and then just get like pieced up by Jack Della Maddalena.
Oh, all right, all
Yeah.
right. So
I
what's
don't
your pick
know.
then?
I don't know, man.
It's-
I don't know. It could be something like, dude. What it could be is like Belal Muhammad skates by on 3 rounds, and then 1 round Jack Della Maddalena just like drops him 10 times, and then like wins the next round, and then it's a draw, and then we
yeah,
get no resolution at all to this thing.
that
'Cause then they
would be the worst. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Think of those implications, motherfucker. Like that would be terrible.
Yeah.
But no, like dude, I love Flat Nose Jackie. He's very fun to watch. I just like Bilal's very good, and I will remember the name. Um, he Bilal usually is, I will say, very good at game planning. The Vicente Luque fight is the one that stands out as like, what was the thought here? But every other opponent, he seems to scout them really well. And I think he's probably got to have confidence now that he's champ. I'm gonna go with Belal Muhammad by unanimous decision. That
Okay.
feels like I don't know. There's something in my plum saying Jack Della Maddalena might just, with one insane like 12 punch combination, just destroy Belal Muhammad. But you got to respect what Bilal's done. He's got the skills. He's definitely one of the smarter fighters and better game planners out there.
Mhm.
Um, he's just like the least dynamically athletic dude I've ever seen. He
Yeah.
does have insane pecs, though. I will say that dude's bricked up. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I think.
That
What
that
about
is
you?
the safe that's the safe pick, and, I'm right there with you, I mean,
Mm,
everything by logic tells me Bilal should come away with a decision
yeah,
on this, and, like, maybe, like, 4 rounds to 1 or even 5 rounds, you know?
yeah,
But this is literally, Jack Della Maddalena always has a puncher's chance, and I could definitely see, like you said, in the 4th round, like, Bilal figuring out, like, "Okay, I have to, like, close the distance," and, like, they're in you know, he's starting to back Jack Della Maddalena up towards the cage and tries to shoot in, and he just gets caught with, a combination, and from that, like, he gets stunned or rocked, and then JDM could just, like, finish from there. But I think you're right. He's too smart. He's shown enough savvy, enough experience to kind of weather against dynamic striking. And you know, for my also, I also don't see a lot of kicking from Jack Della Maddalena.
yeah.
So that might be something where he's not as concerned about. So he can shoot on the legs without any much concern of like a knee or a kick coming to stop him. So
I don't know, because Jack Della Maddalena's been training with Dan Hooker quite a bit apparently for this fight, and like Dan Hooker was fucking kneeing and uppercutting and guillotine threatening Mateusz Gamrot in his last
yeah.
fight, who was just shooting endlessly. So, like, here's the thing: like, Jack Della Maddalena has all the tools to easily win this fight. right? He just like we said about this idea of like Belal is in control of every minute and Jack Della Maddalena is in control never, right? He relies on like his offensive potency to like regain control because he doesn't strategically like ever like do anything to maintain like dominance in the fight. But and like what Bilal's doesn't have like the best chin. Belal doesn't have like the best footwork. Bilal's not like insanely like durable and athletic. So it's like, dude, like that. I agree with you on that. Like 4 rounds to Belal, but I think probably if Jack wins a round, it'll be a 10-8 round. Like he'll just and like that might, dude. This might be a draw. I don't know. If it is, you heard it here first on the Two Fight Fans podcast. We
Yeah.
said that it would probably be a draw, and that the implications would be bad,
Well,
really bad implications.
actually, here's the thing. That means Ilya would fight Islam because Islam won't move up because Bilal will stay as champion. This is
Yeah.
such a Bilal thing too, by the way. The fact that it's his championship fight, but we're talking about something else that we're more excited about based on what will happen with him.
I
Like,
know. I feel bad
poor
too.
guy. Yeah.
I really like I do like Bilal. I like him, like his personality, him as a person. Like he's a pretty good. I think he's kind of the heir apparent to Dom Cruise's like dyed in the wool hater. Like he just seems to despise everyone else in his division and is about it. And I like that. He
Yeah.
just is not super fun to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he is everything that we like. He's a skill guy. He like thinks about things. He's like
He
like
thinks about things.
well, like, he doesn't just go out there and cheat with athleticism. He's like, I
No,
actually
you're
thought this through.
100% right. Yeah.
Like he's a skill boy. We like this. It's just it's just not, you know? It's weird because he I think he is the one champion in a division where I really firmly go like, I don't know if this guy's the best guy in the division. I don't even know if this guy's the top 3 in the division, which is rude because I should remember the name Belal Muhammad. And he does hold the belt. It's just, yeah, I don't know, dude. Like the UFC decided, let's take the 2 most boring champions and let's throw them on the same fight card, which is the crazy decision in my mind. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we're both going Bilal. But man, that draw pick is tantalizing. I think because it's also like a -500, or a +500. So, nah, we'll go with Bilal.
All right. All right.
Yeah, we got to put some respect on his name. Yeah, but you know whose name I don't need to put any respect on?
Oh my
Valentina
God.
Shevchenko. What do you think about this fucking fight?
Okay. No, actually, you know how I feel. I predicted Shevchenko's going to stay
Just
champion for the end of the year.
simping for Valentina.
You're the one, though. I think you said Manon Fiorot was going to be champion at the end of the year, right?
Yes, I did.
All
Uh-huh.
right. Well, okay. So you know my pick then. It's just Shevchenko's just going to win by points. She's going to get
Why?
her. Well, she's going to just get a few like kicks here and there, a few jabs, and then she's gonna like close in and then try to do like a takedown against the cage. Like it's
Yeah.
just gonna be a rinse and repeat of like the last 3 fights we've seen her do. So
Yeah, it'll be like throw 5 strikes around, attempt 1 takedown. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Ki loudly every time you throw a strike, so it's scarier for your opponent. Yeah.
yeah, man, it's
Ter-
worked for her.
Yeah.
And
No,
no,
I know. Well, here's the thing. That's a good like frame of reference. It has worked for her. She's ruled this division for such a long time. Is that a promotion of her skill, or is that an indictment on the rest of this division that Valentina Shevchenko has gotten away with this for like 10 years?
well, I think it's a little bit of both. It's one
No.
of those things where like the overall skill is definitely lower than
Hmm.
most other divisions, but she's also so far ahead of everyone else. So it's like,
I think
yeah,
she's really only so far ahead of everyone else in like one respect, which is she might be the best in the UFC at like really understanding and constantly maintaining range. Like,
that's a big part too. That
yeah,
is really good too. You have to
yeah.
understand
And
too.
that's like, I know that's a very difficult thing to do, and she's like clearly very good at it. But like, that is like, I feel like 90% of her success. And then
Yeah.
the other 10% is like a kick she throws or a jab. It's just like nobody can ever actually hit her because anytime they move even a millimeter closer, she moves a millimeter away, like almost at the same time, like a mirror image, which is
Yeah.
really impressive. But it's also like that doesn't make for an exciting fight, and that doesn't make for a dynamic fight. That makes
No,
for
no.
people moving back and forth like on a slider. It's like,
Yeah.
I can't watch this.
That is true, but I will say there's a lot of people who I've watched who, like, get in range like, a tall person, the person gets in range and is like, "Do something." Like,
Yeah,
you can just do anything right now. This person is literally just standing there, they don't pose a threat to you. Or, like,
yeah.
the smaller guy just wanders into, like, punching and kicking range, just continues to eat leg kicks. It's like, "My man, every time you get that close, you're just
Yeah,
getting chopped under, like, your
yeah.
leg is fucking meat right now. Come on." Like, just learn.
Yeah, yeah. Nah, learning's for squares. I'm not gonna learn. That's for nerds. Um, yeah. So okay, like Valentina has ruled this division. Like she still has control over the range better than basically anyone else in this division. Um, what this fight reminds me of is Manon Fiorot's big, right? Manon Fiorot big.
Yeah, yeah.
Manon Fiorot throw at a decent pace. Right, she knows basically what I need to do is walk forward and throw ones and twos and a roundhouse kick at like a decent clip and do that for 5 rounds
Mhm.
and have like takedown defense. That's kind of like Holly Holm, Amanda Nunes, right? Just like
Alright.
big person, walk forward, throw punches, keep up the pace, like make sure you hit people at all times, right? It's a pretty meat and potatoes game. Like the mechanics of her punches are fine. Um, so the question is like Valentina Shevchenko, when she fought Holly Holm, was able to beat her. When she fought Amanda Nunes, was not able to beat her. Um, Valentina Shevchenko's definitely older. Is she 36, 37 now? She's looked worse in every one of the Alexa Grasso fights. And
Mhm.
Alexa Grasso looked even worse. Like they both seem to kind of have regressed in their trilogy. It just happened like Valentina didn't regress as fast.
Yeah.
And Alexa
She
Grasso
did
looked real.
dominate their last fight, though.
Yeah. I mean, but Alexa Grasso looked like she'd never ever done wrestling in her life. She was like, "What's a
Yeah, that's
takedown?"
true.
And it was like,
Yeah,
"How
yeah.
did? What are you talking? Like, there were a bunch of takedowns in your first 2 fights. How did your takedown defense get even worse and like less? Like, she looked surprised to get taken down, and it was like,
Mhm.
what were you training? Like,
Yeah.
how? So I mean, we'll get to her. She's later on this card, but like, is that gonna work against Manon Fiorot? I don't think so. Um, I just have like a feeling that like Manon Fiorot, as long as he just like keeps marching forward. Now, Valentina Shevchenko will keep marching backwards, but at like some point, Manon Fiorot will hit her, right? And the question is like Valentina Shevchenko doesn't really throw combinations. She'll do that like step back left hook or that kind of like counter left hook. She'll throw a jab and she'll throw those like side kicks or a spinning, spinning heel kick, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like that's not a super dynamic attack, and it's always one shot. Where Manon Fiorot shows that she will throw like 3 or 4 punch combinations, which means she'll probably hit Valentina Shevchenko. I think this fight's going to be pretty boring and pretty bad, but I think
Oh,
what
yeah.
it'll be is just like I don't think there will be too much grappling. I think Valentina Shevchenko will try it. One of them will inevitably go for a head and arm throw because that still exists in women's MMA, and then like end up getting their back taken because they tried that. Um, but I think this is just going to be like Manon Fiorot is just going to, like the Terminator, just kind of walk Valentina Shevchenko down and like not really be that effective, but just
Mhm.
do enough to outland her in each round. Um, I think it'll probably be probably 3 rounds to 2 Manon Fiorot by
Okay.
decision. Yeah,
Alright, alright.
but this fight's going to suck.
Manon Fiorot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think both of these last 2 fights are not gonna be great,
yeah,
they won't be very entertaining, but at the same time, we'll have to be like, "Alright, like, yeah, they found a way to win," you
yeah,
know, it was a very, like yeah,
yeah,
it's just meat and potatoes kind of fight, like, there's
yeah.
no there's no glitz and glam about it.
Yeah, I mean, like the fun thing is like Jack Della Maddalena can like put a whooping on someone, and so there is always that threat. Whereas like nobody, Valentina doesn't really ever put a whooping on anyone, or at least hasn't since she fought Jessica I. And like Manon Fiorot doesn't really put a whooping on people. She just kind of like you're like, oh yeah, you won that fight, good for you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like so,
yeah.
it's just gonna be that. So the Belal Jack definitely has more intrigue because like attitude. Women's flyweight is just kind of like it's the best division, but like as long as Valentina is there, just being this like I don't know ghostly figure that just like appears in the cage and then like throws one jab around. I'm like, who gives a shit?
It's
Yeah, yeah. All right. So from there, we need to move on to finish, a fight that you think will end in finish, and who you think will get the finish, and what type of finish it will be.
Yep.
Colin,
Yeah.
let's have you go first.
All right. Well, I'm going. Despite the fact that he's on a 2-fight losing streak, I think the late replacement uh won't be a problem for him. And since he hasn't really had any stiff competition in a while, I'm going to say Benoit Saint Denis is gonna come away with a submission win. I think he's gonna rock.
Ooh.
Um, I think he's gonna actually. I think he could get like a knockout.
Hmm.
And actually, according to this, like Kyle Prepple like has never been knocked out. So I think his striking can actually like get him stunned and possibly lead to a knockout. But I think he'll like kind of go to the ground and maybe turtle, and Benoit Saint Denis will sink in a choke to win.
Hmm. That makes sense. That makes sense. Did you hear that Benoit Saint Denis has basically been his own head coach ever since I think the fight before, or maybe during the Dust? He like separated with his coaches for the Dustin Poirier fight, and then every fight since he has been his own coach.
No, I did not hear that. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it's only been one fight, right? Because he fought Dustin
since
2 fights
Dustin.
ago. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the Dustin fight, he was his own coach.
Oh, okay. Well.
Um, yeah. So like,
He separated from his coaching?
I think like I don't know. All I know is this: going into a Dustin Poirier fight, going into a Hanato Moicano fight as your own coach without coaching staff, really, or you like bring your buddies along to be in your corner. We might need to retroactively give Benoit Saint Denis an honorary donkey brain moment of the year award. Because, good God, man, you can't be going into a Dustin Poirier fight being like, I'll be a self-trained Ronin and take out Dustin Poirier. Like,
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
you talking about, Benoit Saint Denis? That's insane. And then you lose badly. And then you're like, I will just try to replicate that again when I fight Hanato Moicano. Insane. So I don't know if he has a coach now. Um, but I think you're definitely right. Like, I mean, he's a minus 1,000 favorite. So,
Yeah,
like, yeah,
yeah.
he'll probably finish Kyle Prepolek. Yeah, I mean, here's a weird thing. We it's a short notice replacement. Are there no other better candidates for an exciting fight for the number 13 ranked contender at
I
lightweight that were ready to step up and like try to take his position? Like people just outside the top 15 or people within the top 15 that they were like, you know what we need to get, according to Tapology, the number 146th ranked lightweight in the world. Like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Because he's from Canada? There are other Canadians you could have like had Benoit Saint Denis fight that are better. What do you? Why? Um, Baffling to me, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely baffling. Uh, yeah, like there's like Diego Ferreira. There's I don't know. Grant Dawson could have fought him. Like there's so many other engaging people that they they could have gotten. They're like, nah, we'll get this guy.
Yeah.
He's not even a top 100 lightweight because we know that lightweight is like really starved for talent in the UFC. There's no other good lightweights. It's not a fun division at all. Like it's what a weird decision to make. Yeah, what a bummer. Okay, enough kvetching about that fight. Let's talk about a fight that is now taking place at featherweight because they both missed weight quite dramatically. The King of Rio, baby, Jose
Oh,
Aldo.
wait, they both missed weight?
Yeah, Ayman Zahabi came in at 142. Jose Aldo came in at 143, and they both agreed, let's not try to get down to 135. That shit sucks. Yeah, yeah. Both
Wait,
both missing weight by like 8 pounds.
yeah, that's not even trying there. Like, come on. Wait, okay, so
Dude. And they both look bad. They look bad on the scale too. They both look like they were like dying.
oh
And it's like, dude, you
no.
had 8 more pounds to go. Fuck.
Normally you forfeit your purse, like a percentage of your purse to your opponent, but since they both missed like the same amount of weight, what happened?
Yeah.
Do they give it to someone else, or do they just
I
not
don't know.
forfeit?
They just changed the fight agreement. Now it's at featherweight, and they both came in like well under the featherweight limit of 146. So they're all good.
Okay.
It's happened a few times in the past where like it's scheduled for something and then like both guys come in, they're like, do you want to cut weight? Nah, I don't really want to either. Let's just fight at 170. We're both lightweights. We both know, like, but we'll fight at 170. So I'm glad they both were able to come to a sort of gentleman's agreement on that. Does that spell that this fight might be not as good because they both are really hurting from the weight cut? Possibly. But let's talk about this. Ayman's a hobby. Firas Zahabi's fail son brother. He is not good. I don't think.
No.
I don't think he's very good. And yet he's, I think, what, number 13 in the bantamweight division? Let's see. Number 15 in the bantamweight division.
Damn.
He, in classic Firas Zahabi fashion, and everyone that trains under Firas Zahabi, he does have a good jab, a well-schooled, mechanically correct, disciplined jab.
Mhm.
He also seems to know like how to, like, in a boxing combination, cover up after throwing, rather than like UFC fighters who we claim have good boxing and they throw a combination and then they stand there with their hands like down by their nipples and then get like plugged right in the face. He will throw a combination and then like return his hands to like his head and cover up so that when the opponent goes, now it's my turn, he doesn't get hit as hard. But when he does that, he tends to like really cover up high, like his palms on his forehead and like elbows by like his chin, which means that weird long salamander torso he has, all those beautiful ribs, they're ready to be roasted. And you know who loves a good backyard cookout? That's Jose Aldo, baby. I think Jose Aldo is gonna like absolutely demolish Amin Zahabi's body and legs in this fight. Jose Aldo is slowing down. He's definitely more counterable than he had been. But we know that the two ways you beat Jose Aldo is basically put an insanely high pace on him, in which like he just can't keep up and he wilts, because Jose Aldo always kind of wilts under insane pressure. If you can keep a pace insanely high, I'm talking Max Holloway, Merab Dvalishvili high, or you have to be like so wickedly good with feinting, like Alexander Volkanovski, that you kind of confuse Jose Aldo
Mhm.
overall. Amin Zahabi feints a tiny bit, does not have an insane gas tank to put a pace on Jose Aldo, and seeing just the fact that he covers up so high and like he doesn't really use his footwork to get out of the way of things, and when he does, he lets his like legs kind of trail behind him, right? He kind of leans and then like just backpedals. It should be pretty easy for Jose Aldo to just like throw a 1-2 and then go with a hook to the body and just like absolutely obliterate Amin Zahabi's liver. Um, so I'm gonna pick Jose Aldo by TKO, second round, by
Oh,
body. I think he'll drop him with a body strike, and then probably finish him up with some ground and pound. Um, that's my read. Yeah,
very nice, very nice. All right, Jose Aldo get another knockout to his record. Okay.
yeah, and then like they should do a cool old man fight for him. Like, I wish they had done the Dom Cruz fight when Dominic Cruz was going to retire, or let's finally get Henry Cejudo versus Jose Aldo, the
Mm.
fight that like Henry Cejudo had wanted. Let's not have him continue to fight like young challengers, but like Amin Zahabi isn't even like a young challenger. He fights like once every 2 years, and like nobody knows who he is. Like, why are we wasting Jose Aldo's like last 2 or 3 fights? But whatever. Let's have him fight Henry Cejudo after this, and then, oh man, if he beats Henry Cejudo, the number 6 ranked contender, I think it's time for a Jose Aldo title shot. I think that's what we
Oh,
got to do, right? Or Jose
yeah.
Aldo versus Sean O'Malley. That'd be cool.
That would be good. I'd be down with that.
Yeah. Unless, how sad would it be if Jose Aldo wins this fight, let's say beats Henry Cejudo, and then he fights Sean O'Malley, and in 13 seconds he charges forward, and Sean O'Malley does the exact same punch that Conor McGregor did on Jose Aldo. Uh,
That would be. Oh.
I know. Like I'm like, maybe not, maybe not. Or maybe if Connor ever does come back, we can just have Jose Aldo fight him at like, I don't know. So Connor's like at 170 now, and Jose Aldo's, well, I guess Jose Aldo's at 145.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like be like, Jose, you don't need to cut at all. Because as kind of old as Jose is, like I think he'd probably obliterate Connor at this point. Yeah, and that'd be cool. Love to see that. Alrighty. Let's talk about decision. What fight do we think will go to a decision? You've got so many to pick from, man. They're
I
like
know. I know, man.
most of these fights are fucking going to a decision.
All right. Well, you get to pick the first one on this.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to pick being the curtain jerker of the whole night. Brad Katona versus Bezkat Almakan.
Oh, okay.
Dude, out of Kazakhstan. Brad Katona is like a Canadian buff man who wrestles a lot. And Bezkat Almakan is training out of the same camp as Shavkat and Abus Almabayev. So another wrestle heavy, aggressive man who throws a lot of strikes. I think this is probably just going to end up being a pretty boring grappling affair.
Uh,
Maybe some cool things will happen, but like, I don't know. Does Bezcat have any finishes on his? He's got. Well, I guess he's got 7 first-round finishes. So maybe I'm going to be digging my own grave here. But like Brad Katona has 16 fights and he has 5 finishes. So like I think this will probably go to a decision.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
who do you think is going to win the decision?
Bezcat Almacan.
Omicron. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have gone with so many. Now I'm like, should I pick Marc-Andre Barrio? Navajo Sterling?
Dude, I am surprised there are 2 women's flyweight matches and you didn't pick either one of them.
Well, here's the thing. I think Natalia Silva will probably stop Alexa Grasso.
Oh.
And then Jasmine Jazz Davicius is like good, but like she's a minus 310 favorite. And so there's something that maybe I'm not understanding about her game and how it matches up to Jessica Andrade that makes me go like, whoa, what the fuck? Wow. So I was like, I know Brad Katona can't finish a bowl of soup. So like, I think that probably will go to a decision. What about you? Are you picking one of these women's fights?
I was thinking about it, but I also had this weird inkling that I feel like Natalia Silva can finish Alexa Grasso.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
so
Can we
yeah,
talk about that too for a sec? Like, Alexa Grasso was champion in this division.
yeah.
What? Is Alexa Grasso even good?
I mean, she got
Like,
a win over Valentina, and
sure,
then
but that
took her
doesn't
to
mean
a
you're.
draw.
Yeah, that doesn't mean you're good. Like, but
We just talked
if
about her being the champion for so long, you know?
I know, but like again, that doesn't mean that she's good, right? Like,
Relatively speaking, for her
yeah,
division, she would be.
okay, I know, like relatively, but like for the Earth, is Alexa Grasso a good fighter? Like, like looking at her game, I'm just like, I don't know. Like, you can throw a jab and you can definitely like get a rear naked choke, but like, are you a good fighter? I don't really think so.
Nah, I think skill wise, there's a lot missing, and especially like you said, like she has looked progressively worse in her fights,
Yeah.
which does not bode well.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no,
Yeah. Yeah. I think Natalia Silva probably will finish her. Man, maybe I should have picked that over the Jose Aldo. Nah, fuck it. I picked Jose. I ride with Jose. Jose, ride or die.
yeah.
Invite me to your Minions themed house, Jose. We can talk about our favorite Brazilian dictators. Cool. So who are you picking?
Alright,
Sorry for decision.
yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with my original pick. I think Jose Aldo is gonna win by decision, but I think it's gonna be like a very like one sided affair.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
you're picking
So
Jose for decision. All
yeah,
right. All right. Yeah, makes sense. Like it's like Jose Aldo uh, just beating up on a younger dude, but like not really putting his foot on the gas because he's afraid of gassing.
yeah,
Makes sense. But I just see Eamon Zahabi's long ass torso. Like how like he really like when he covers up, he put like his elbows are like pointing straight at his opponent. And I'm like, dude, you have such a long body that anyone who knows how to body shot is gonna eat you alive.
yeah.
And like Jose Aldo knows how to do that. Most MMA fighters don't. They forget that the body exists. So yeah, but good call. All right, that just leaves underdog pick for the night.
Yeah,
We've
what
talked
the
about
fuck?
every fight on the main card too, which is cool.
Pretty much,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, like yeah. Who are you gonna pick for underdog here?
Dude, I I don't know, man. Like, oh god, this is one again. I don't know a lot of these fighters, but also two, like, God, it's just I don't know, man. All
It's
right,
dire.
it is, it is.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like the rest of the fights. Like I like the two fights. They have the cachet of being title fights. It is the two most boring champions fighting opponents. Jose Aldo, it's always cool to see him back, but it's like terrible matchmaking there. Alexa Grasso, Natalia Silva. This will give a boost to Natalia Silva and like maybe make her the next title challenger. And it's like probably good that like in case Manon Fiorot or Valentina Shevchenko couldn't make weight, that they had them as backup. The Benoit Saint Denis one is upsetting because it's like he's a cool fighter to watch, but like you need to have a cool dance partner. Why are you just like throwing him just like a sacrificial lamb. Like you could also just reschedule him. Like, if the Joe Alvarez fight fell through, like you could just reschedule Benoit Saint Denis for like 2 weeks from now. There's an
Yeah.
Apex card, right? They took the Gilbert Burns and who's he fighting? Michael Morales fight off this card so that they could put it on the Apex. Why didn't they just take the Benoit Saint Denis fight off and like have a better fight on there? And then we could have had Gilbert Burns on this card.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the prelims, Mike Malott is like, dude, I know you're Canadian, bud, but like, you're just so bad. Jessica Andrade, Jasmine Jastovicius is interesting, but then yeah, we've got a lot of like on here.
All right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
For this pick, just for logistics and rules and everything. What if both fighters, the odds are basically even, and they're both negative, like they're both underdogs somehow? Just the one who's more of an underdog.
Yeah. Well, if they're both minus money, that means they're both favored, right? Or it's a pick 'em. Like, so if you pick that,
They're
you're
both
only
favored, yeah.
Yeah, you're only gonna get 1 point, and so like
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the extra boost overall. So you can pick that. They're also like the UFC website doesn't have a lot of them, so I've had to go to DraftKings to look at the odds.
Oh, okay.
But man, okay, so let's see. We've got a featherweight fight. We've got a middleweight. We've got a light heavyweight fight. Ooh,
All right, you know what? Fuck it. This is what I'm doing.
yeah.
Okay, I'm saying Jessica Andrade is gonna win.
There you go, bud. There you go. Yeah. What? I mean, do you have any inkling about why Jasmine Jastovicius is so favored in this fight? Because I don't get it.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, because like Andrade, she did just come off a loss to Natalia Silva, but like I think Natalia Silva's probably gonna like fight for the title next and like might beat. I'd probably pick her over both Manon Fiorot and Valentina Shevchenko. So like no harm, no foul there. And then she beat Marina Rodriguez and Mackenzie Dern in the 2 fights before that. So like, yeah, I mean Jasmine Jastovicius could take her down. She's got good grappling, but like, yeah, I don't know. Well, for an underdog pick, I have to go in a division where it's really easy to lose, and that's light heavyweight, baby. So I'm going to go Modestas Bukauskas beating Iwan Kutalaba, probably by TK at some point, because both of these guys definitely suffer from donkey brains and just run into punches recklessly. And I'll say, yeah, Modestas Bukauskas. He's bigger than Iwan Kutalaba. Big man smash. That's my pick. That's my read on that one. Yeah.
How do you have a? Are you saying he's gonna win by knockout?
TKO, yeah, we'll say the first round. Yeah, fuck it. First round TKO.
Great.
But both of these dudes have like insane finishing rates, right? Like 13 of the 19 wins of Iwan Kutalaba, and most of his losses are by TKO. And for Modestas Bukauskas, he's got 13 wins by finish out of his 17. So like, this is going to be a car crash. It's going to be a stupid, stupid car crash. I'm just going to pick Modestas Bukauskas to come out the other side.
Right.
No real reason other than he's bigger than Iwan Kutalaba. I'm just like, he big. So big car, smash little car. That's basically it. All right. Well, this has been Two Fight Fans podcast, where we went through UFC 315. The first time they've been back to Montreal, I think in 10 years, which is crazy.
Wow, has it been that long?
It's been fucking super long. It's DJ versus Kyoji Horiguchi was the last time they were here.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, and what did they bring to Canada? They brought old man Jose Aldo against a Canadian that like no Canadian even cares about. They brought the 2 most boring champions. They brought us Alexa Grasso for some reason. And then they decided, hey, let's bring a Canadian in to get absolutely destroyed by Benoit Saint Denis. Kind of an odd offering to the Canadian people. But that's the UFC.
That's America right now with Canada. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'll be interested to see how many people are actually in the arena and how much they try to hide it, because it sounds like they're selling pretty poorly overall. Maybe people are just upset that Joe Rogan isn't going to be commentating, because Joe Rogan said he'll never go to Canada because it's a communist country or whatever. But he'll happily go to Saudi Arabia. He'll happily go to Russia. He'll happily go to China for cards. Yeah, what a cool dude he is, don't you think? Anyway, this has been Two Fight Fans podcast. I'm one Fight Fan Stuart.
I'm the other Colin.
And after this fight, remember the name Belal Muhammad and all the implications that go along with it. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.